All right, does it ever burn when you inject Mounjaro? I actually did a video, it was last Saturday when I did my last injection. Again, it should be on Friday, but anyway, long story short, I'm doing it today on Saturday. And what happened last week was I injected and I had a burning sensation when I injected it. And so that has happened before, although it usually doesn't. So I wanted to do a little bit of an investigation into why that happens and see if there's a way to avoid it. And so first of all, why does it happen? The biggest factor is the temperature of the liquid you're injecting. So the recommendation I have gotten from my doctor and kind of searching online is to take it out, let it warm up for about 10 to 20 minutes to room temperature, because that's probably the biggest factor in creating a burn sensation. And then I think injection site might be an issue. I'm actually going to search it real quick. Hey ChatGPT, can you hear me okay?
I hear you loud and clear, Chris. No distortion or dropouts on my end. Let me know what you need.
All right, last time I injected a Mounjaro, I had a burning sensation. What causes that burning sensation? And it's not every time, just once in a while it happens.
That intermittent burning is often due to either minor irritation from the needle or the medication's pH interacting with tissue. If it's not consistent, it could depend on injection depth, speed, or just local sensitivity. Typically, it's not a red flag, but always worth noting if it changes or intensifies.
So are you saying it's slightly acidic?
Yes, that's a fair assessment. Some injectable medications can have a slightly acidic or just non-neutral pH, which can cause brief irritation in some tissues. It's not uncommon, and it doesn't mean there's anything wrong, just that your body may notice that difference on occasion.
And then I've also heard a factor could be if I use the alcohol prep pads to sterilize the surface of my skin, I could be pushing that into the injection site, and that maybe I need to let it dry before I inject. Is that right?
That's exactly right. If the alcohol hasn't fully evaporated, you could push a bit of it into the tissue, which might cause that extra sting. Letting it dry completely, usually just a few seconds, minimizes that risk.
Now with Mounjaro, you can inject in your arm or kind of to the side of either side of your belly button or kind of on the outside of your thigh. Are there any of those positions that are more prone to a burning sensation?
It can vary from person to person. The abdomen might be a bit more sensitive for some due to thinner tissue or nerve endings, while others might find the thigh or arm more noticeable. In general, though, none is universally worse. It's more about your individual tissue sensitivity and technique consistency.
Well, here's what I wonder is I don't have a lot of fat on my thighs, but I have quite a bit of fat around my middle. Is it better to inject into kind of like a fatty part of your body, or is it better to inject into a more lean part of your body?
For subcutaneous injections like this, a fatty area is typically ideal. Fatty tissue provides more space for the medication to absorb slowly, minimizing discomfort. In lean areas, you're closer to muscle, which can cause more irritation. So if you've got more padding around your midsection, that's usually a more comfortable spot.
All right, excellent. Thank you very much, ChatGPT.
You're very welcome. If anything else comes up, I'm here to help. Take care, Chris.
All right, there you go. You heard from my good buddy ChatGPT on how this works. I am using this little antiseptic wipe, so I'm going to apply that. And I did get the burning sensation when I injected in my thigh. And now that I think about it, every time I've gotten a burning sensation, it's been when I injected in my thigh. I don't like injecting in my belly. I just find it to be a little more just kind of awkward. I can easily reach my thigh and see what's going on. It's a little harder with my belly. And then there's a couple times the injection site has gotten a little irritated because I do have quite a bit of fat around my midsection. And so sometimes the injection site will kind of rub against my belt or something. But since I'm particularly interested in the burning sensation, and I had burning last week, so I'd like to see with this new protocol if I can control the variables here and avoid the burning sensation. So I've applied it. I'm going to let that dry for a moment. And while I'm letting it dry, let's avoid the mistake that I've made twice. And because what will happen is I'll start thinking about all this, and I've forgotten twice to take the lid off. So I'm going to take this lid off before I forget. And the problem is the lid kind of feels the same as the surface area. So if you haven't taken it off and you press this against your body, it feels about the same. So I wish they would put a specific texture here as kind of an alarm that no, you have not removed the lid. Maybe I should write that suggestion in. Okay, and then I'm going to turn it to unlock. All right, alcohol dries really fast, so I can tell it's dry to the surface is dry. And I usually whine and cry a little bit before I stab myself, but just since I'm on camera, I don't want to cause anybody else anxiety about this. I'm going to not be a baby today, and I'm going to do this. Let's see. I'm just trying to be aware of if there is a burning sensation. So no, zero burning sensation. So our protocol seems to have worked. And just a little bit of bleeding there. So I'm going to get another pad here. And all right, I think we had a successful injection. We figured out what we can do to avoid the burning sensation. Warm this up for about 20 minutes before you inject. That's probably the biggest factor. If you use a sterile wipe, give that a few seconds to dry before you inject it. And then it's likely better to inject it in a fatty area where it's less dense and has more room to be absorbed. For me, that's around my midsection. For some of you, I know some people carry their weight more in their thighs and hips. So that might be better for you. All right. Well, if you want more useful, practical, honest information, and also just a regular guy like you going through this experience and learning as I go, hope you'll like and subscribe here. I've also got a school community. You need to join it. A lot of great people. That's it. I'll see you in the next one.